Were you concerned that the track was going to come apart, and are you happy that it didn't?
No, it looks like they fixed it a little bit preemptively with some epoxy patches and so forth. So it seems like the track's probably in a good place for Sunday's race.
Did the wall in turn 11, was that, I know they mentioned it to you guys, but was it what you expected, and do you have to drive it any different?
It was definitely not what we expected. We'll see how it races. I don't know if there's going to be changes before the race Sunday, but yeah, it's a pretty significant shift to the racetrack.
And people, I assume you watch what happens in any race, and if you guys see something you don't like, you could ask them to change for Sunday.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Yeah, or the whatever ARCA races out there. Yeah.
And is the big change because you sight differently, or because they don't have any tire? They thought that they were going to put some tires.
Yeah, well, it's a lot different hitting a wall versus hitting a tire, as you can imagine. And kind of the risk versus reward proposition changes, and that changes the way you race.
Does a potential third charter for FPA become more feasible, seeing the amount that Front Row paid for theirs reportedly?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm not sure I know what to believe there, but we're still interested in being a three-car cup team. We're not going to do it just to do it. If we do it, we're going to do it right. And that means a lot of different things to different people, but to us, I think it means having the right assets to be able to compete at a high level and doing it in a way that is, fiscally responsible for the company.
What did you think of, I didn't see much, but of Cam's kind of first practice, first experience?
Yeah, he had a great excursion right in front of me. And we told him he gets a lot of points for his save because he didn't hit anything. But it's always interesting to see drivers come from different series to our sport and try to pick it up, and the good, the bad, and everything in between it. We haven't been as fast with our cars on the road courses as we want to be, and hopefully he can give us some pointers to get us there.
How much does your team and you feel this uptick since your win and things kind of really, turning around for you guys? Is it?
No, it's been great, Holly. I think it puts us in a spot where, we don't have to points race, which is great. That's not a lot of fun. And then, this year particularly, you look at the drivers that are outside of the bubble right now, Logano, Busch, and I can't remember who else. And those are, champions, right? And they're going to have to either win or point their way in, but they're out right now on points. So it's nice to not have to worry about those things.
Why did you go over to talk to Blaney last week? Is it because he's driven for you and you know him?
I don't know, just felt for him. I don't know. Been there too. And I know how much it hurts. Just wanted to say something, I guess. I don't know.
Do you feel like you're more like that now because you're a dad? Maybe
I
than you would have been?
I don't know. Maybe, that's probably a great question when I'm 60 rather than 40. Because when you're in the moment, you don't have that perspective, right? You're quite literally, you're the forest in the, or you're the trees in the forest, so you can't see it. But I don't know. It felt bad for him. I know what it feels like. I know it's not fun. I know how it hurts. And just I'd say something.
With the repave here this weekend, do you think tire management is going to be less of an issue for the race?
I'm not sure. We had one set of tires that was just starting to come apart. So I'm not willing to write that off yet.
The laminate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's was the concern coming in a little bit, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So, this sport loves to play that game when you think you understand and know what's going to happen, and it does a 180 on you. I didn't think, when we went to Bristol this spring, in our race prep, we talked about don't worry about the tires, because the fall race we ran like 200 laps on a set of tires, and we could make 35. So, I think it's that slope of enlightenment where you realize that the more you do this, the less you know. So I have no idea.
You've been coming here for years. Is there anything you didn't expect when you got out there today? anything that you saw out there today?
No, just a lot to unlearn. This track had so many nuances to it that were related to it just having no grip, and now it's 180 of that, incredible grip, and you know, you have to rewire your brain, and it's an interesting challenge.
Was there fall off on the tire, or did it just...
So yeah, it seemed like the tires fall off after about 3 or 4 laps pretty significantly.
With the new pavement, do you feel that that could equalize everyone compared to Sonoma races in the past, just in terms of speed?
Potentially. No, I think the fact that it's just different makes it hard to equalize everyone, because there's going to be people that hit it and people that don't.
How many laps have you had in your life at Iowa?
Probably close to 1,000. I ran 4 or 5 Xfinity races there. I think those were 200-lap races, right?
Okay, so but you weren't part of the era where you got that everybody was testing there. And going
No, I was not part of that era. Sounds like fun. Yeah, I do miss those days, believe it or not. You know, today was fun. I like having practice. I think it's good for the fans. I think it was good for the garage area, and so no complaints here.
I mean, you got to talk for an hour, and then you're actually going to be able to make changes to the car.
I know, it's crazy. I feel like so many things in this sport are like extremes. Where like, you know, when I came into the sport, we had seemingly 2 days of practice, 1 day of testing every week. And it's like, that's too much. And I'm like, okay, you'll get none. You're like, whoa, you know, can we find a spot in between? And this format that we have this weekend in Sonoma feels like the right balance. So it's refreshing.
What do you think? Like, is the track good? I mean, is there any issues? Obviously,
No issues.
yeah, no issues. All the patches look like they're holding and everything.
Yeah, the track
All
looks
weekend? They're gonna hold all weekend?
good. Didn't seem like anything happened while I was out there. Never know, but I think we're good.
Will you have to drive turn 11 different with that wall there?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of hard to see the tire packs before. The wall is kind of hard to see, but I mean, it's kind of in the blind spot you have on the right side of the windshield. So instead of a tire, I have a piece of concrete to hit. But yeah, I know what they had in mind by doing it. It's just to keep, you know, cars from crashing off the truck, crashing across turn 11. You guys like me with the flag coming across it, getting it back to pit road.
So you guys are over 4 seconds a lap faster than last year. Does it feel that much faster inside the car?
Yeah, it really does. It's pretty wild to feel out there. You feel like you're doing something. It feels like you're doing something wrong. It feels like you're gonna crash going to turn 1 because you're going in there way faster than you should. But it's starting to become more normal.
And it just holds.
Kind of. Most laps it does. When you lose it, when you get stepped out, it's like it'll bite you quick.
So is that more fun?
It feels sketchy at times, but when it sticks, it's fun. Yeah.
Mhm.
When you lose grip, you feel you know, it's not good. We have a little bit of room in turn 1 and in a couple corners, turn 3. But when you get stepped out and out of shape, you know, through the S's coming back down, and turn 10, you know, turn 10 is going to be a place I feel like gets a few people over the course this weekend.
Do you think this will fit your style because you're just going out and doing qualifying laps or a great road course qualifier? Does that play into your strong suit?
To a degree, yeah. We still got to work on our car and try to find some things too, but I definitely think it helps. In the past year, you know, it's just added another element that some of the vets were a little better at than I was on road courses. And now, for the most part, I think that's going to be gone to some degree. I still feel like if you get out of shape, slide a tire, it gets hot, it's going to have to cool back off. So, I mean, you still got to keep it straight in some manner, but, you know, tires don't wear away as fast. It's going to be more about fuel strategy Sunday.
Is the sim still as beneficial when there's so much new? During resurface?
Yeah, it can be. Always think, making use of our TRD sim is always a big help.
We saw that one in 2311 now. So I don't know if they updated it or what that's like.
Yeah,
if they
sim time always helps.
Except I know about it, so what do you think, and do you have to drive it differently with the wall there?
No, I mean, I didn't really notice much difference. I guess it's probably going to make it a little bit more congested. If there's a crash, you're not going to have anywhere to go. So, but other than that, normal racing conditions, I didn't notice a difference.
You didn't notice any difference? Some drivers are saying a little bit different sight lines, a little bit different, maybe a little bit more difficult to see.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes it harder to see, but running your normal line, I mean, you're just trying to keep it tight there. So, yeah, I mean, it was a little bit harder to see, but other than that, it wasn't any change.
Does it still pretty much feel like Sonoma?
No, it does not. I mean, the grip level is just a lot different than what we've had in the past, and obviously the name of the game here was managing your tires and knowing how to create grip whenever the tires started falling off. So there's not any of that now.
From Oklahoma, it's going to Iowa. Like, I don't know, is that good? I mean, I don't know how close they are, but there's some.
Yeah, it's not a home track, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
have you raced? Did you race there at all in Xfinity? Or
in Iowa?
Yeah,
I did. I did. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I'm looking forward to going to Iowa. I'm very sad that it's a repave and we don't get to run on the old pavement, but it's a fun track.
What did you think when you saw the pictures of like the half Frankensteinish repave?
I mean, it just completely ruined the corners, and it's going to make it a one-group racetrack.
When you were did you walk the track before the tests?
I did not. I ran a rental car around it, but I didn't walk it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew what it was going to be like before you ever got on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been telling us that for a year. Ever since they announced that Iowa was going to be on the Cup schedule, NASCAR was informing us that they were going to do. They told us patch jobs, and then repaving the bottom half of the corners is going to make it where the top half is completely unusable. But even the second groove, you move up to try and get grip, and with new asphalt, you just don't. There's not a need to move up. So it's definitely going to be a different race than what old Iowa was.
Is there enough room to fit 2 cars in that?
In the repave?
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely is. I mean, you might even be able to go 3 wide in the repave, but it's only half the track, and then the top half of the track is old pavement.
Would you prefer to see the entire thing repaved, not just the little corn?
Yeah, I mean, if you have to do that, yeah, I mean, they absolutely needed to repave the whole thing, because now, I mean, literally the top half of the track is completely useless, and it will remain useless until it gets repaved. So at least if they would have done the whole thing, then the timeline would have, or the clock would have restarted on hopefully getting us a racetrack to use in 10 years or whatever. But yeah, the way it is now, I mean, you'll never ever even think about running over halfway up.
So if I'm trying to explain this to fans, is it if Texas 1 and 2, is that a valid, like, where you can't use? Is that a valid comparison?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I would say that's a great compare. And Texas even has repave all the way up, but did the same thing. Like, even if they would have repaved the entire corners, we're still going to be fighting for the bottom, just because there's so much grip that you don't have a need to move up the racetrack. So yeah, it's disheartening.
How was last week explained to you? Did you feel free crate or?
Yeah, just a random thing. We have had that problem in the past, and we haven't seen it in a while. And unfortunately, it showed up whenever I needed it the least. But that's all right. You'll have that.
Sticks with you?
It stings. It stings.
You came in expecting tire wear to not be a huge factor. We heard some other drivers say that heat was maybe more a factor with tire degradation. Does that change kind of where you're at with this track this weekend?
No, I mean, it doesn't. Really, practice went exactly how, at least my team, it went exactly how we expected it to. It was a struggle for our team, but the grip level stayed consistent throughout the entire run. We never saw any tire wear or tires losing grip. And I didn't run very long because I was struggling out there. So maybe that's why I didn't see the heat that other guys saw.
Steven Stumpf of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.